Want to welcome everyone today and say thank you so much for joining us. This is an informational session on TriShare and DuoShare, and this is intended for employers to learn more about the tools that you have to help that workforce challenge with your employees, but also help bring childcare into more homes so that these wonderful employees of ours have access to childcare and they can be that productive workforce that we need. So to do that, we are going to dive in just a second. But first and foremost, before we jump on, I want to introduce Russ Knopp of Comfort Keepers. Russ has been a wonderful champion of the Chamber in our programming for many years. And this program falls under our Hot Topics programming, which is program that is community conversations that need to be made that impact either our businesses or our community as a whole and are free for everyone to attend. So that is in part because of Comfort Keepers. So Russ, I would love if you would give us a little spiel as to why you do so much with us and the importance of it, and tell us a little bit about Comfort Keepers.
Good morning. Thank you, Nikki. Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to have everybody here. We just think it's really important to support the Chamber around these hot topics because we know as small business owners that all the other small business owners are dealing with these topics. And so if we can help them address them and bring awareness, if nothing else, to some of these topics, I think it's really important to do. And so we're really pleased to partner with the Petoskey Regional Chamber. They're just one of my favorite chambers. We belong to a number of them, and always fun to work with the Petoskey Chamber. So I'm going to turn it over to Christina, and let's dive right into this topic. And I'm eager for everyone that's on to share this topic with their colleagues.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Russ. Appreciate it. I'm going to do one more little quick thing before we turn it over to Christina, and that is, so part of this programming that we do, Hot Topics is part of our Winfluence umbrella that we have throughout the year. So we do everything from working with generations to mental health in the workplace to business development to hot topics like this one. AI is one that's coming your way very soon. And that partnership is an overarching partnership with Odawa Casino. And so they could not be here today, but I want to make sure that I share a wonderful little video that they have. So if you'll give me 2 seconds, we'll get this going. Everybody should be able to see the screen now. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Ellie Jules. I'm the Community Development Coordinator for Odawa Casino. We are thrilled to announce our sponsorship with the Petoskey Chamber for the 2024 Winfluence programming. We understand the importance of this programming for the growth and development of local workers and businesses. Together with the Chamber, we hope to continue to grow and foster a thriving community.
Right. Thank you to the Odawa Casino, and thank you to Comfort Keepers. We're very lucky to have the support that we do to be able to offer the programming that we do. And so let's get right to it. As I said, this is being recorded. So part of the excitement is that we have advocates that are going to learn more while you're here and then help us spread the word. So I am going to turn it over to you, Christina, to help us learn more about TriShare.
Great. Let me just get my screen going here, and we will be set to roll. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. TriShare has been taking off, and DuoShare is complementing it rather nicely. We just kicked that off in November. So wanted to just give you kind of a quick rundown of both programs, and we will have plenty of time for questions should you want it. But if you have the information that you need when you're ready to jump off, feel free to do so. We want to recognize your time as well. So TriShare is where we're going to start. You can find all the information I'm talking about plus more at mytrishare.org. So that is a website that is super easy to navigate. 3 tabs. There's a home page, an employer tab, an employee tab, and a childcare provider tab. So you can kind of see how all of the 3 components work together and how they work separately. So there's lots of frequently asked questions, document samples, overviews, things like that right on the website. And it's really easy to use. So you can also, there's a new map feature that you can hover over the county that you're in, and you can see the participating employers in that county. And also, if you click on them, it will take you to their website. So we're trying to give that connection. So if employees are looking for looking to get the TriShare or DuoShare benefits, they can go to the employer's website and look for career openings and things like that. So what is TriShare? As I see we're going to move us around today. TriShare is an innovative benefit program that employers, employees, and the state of Michigan share the cost of an employee's childcare equally. So this is a three-way split. It is one of the components that cannot change with TriShare. There are lots of things that employers can do to customize this benefit for their employees, but the 33% is a standard. So you cannot put a cap on TriShare. You have to pay 33% for the allotted, the amount of slots or the amount of employees that participate, or that however you set up your criteria. The program launched as a pilot with bipartisan support in 2021. There were 3 initial hubs: rural, urban, and suburban. We were one of the regional hubs, of course, the rural pilot. From there, they expanded the program. They kind of extended it from a 6-month to a 9-month to now it's an ongoing program of the state of Michigan, and under the new My Leap department that the governor has developed. United Way last year had bid on an RFP. As they saw this statewide expansion, they thought that, how are we going to continue to grow the program and then offer it in all counties of the state, which hasn't happened to date. We have about 20 some counties that are not covered currently, because when we were initial hubs, we could bid on the territory that we cover. So for instance, United Way of Northwest Michigan, still being a hub, covers 10 counties. We also do statewide employers. So if someone in the region has multiple locations, they can work with us directly now that we're the administrative partner. So with that being said, when we bid on that, it was so that we could do the administrative processes for the whole state. So we will do all of the programming, all of the eligibility. The hubs are now going to be out there talking to more employers, getting the word out, doing all of that recruiting and that important work to let everybody know that the program exists. And so eliminating some of that employee eligibility and childcare payment and things like that, those little details, we have taken that on. So we're administrative partner, and we're also a hub still for our area. This program is available to employers in any size, any sector, and also licensed childcare providers in Michigan. So why consider TriShare? Because it really helps you on your employee recruitment, but mostly retention. We know turnover costs businesses a lot of money. You know, around $4,000 is what we estimate for onboarding, and between $4,000 and $10,000, depending on the job that you're hiring for. So that's a huge cost to employers. So retaining those employees is so important. And TriShare helps families because it lowers their childcare costs by 66%, but businesses only put 33% into the pot. So it's nice that they get a robust benefit where you're not paying all of the dollars. Who can apply? Again, this can be specific to employers where you can set parameters around that. TriShare in general goes for parents of children 0 to 17 years old. So if they have a child in that age, you want to cover that age range, totally fine. Anybody can apply. But some employers might have limited budgets. This is where you can determine, would you like to support 1 child per family? Would you like to support infant toddler care up to the age of 5? Would you like to not do summer camps? What does that look like for you? The one thing that you can't choose is you can't choose who cares for the parent's children. You can't say you're partnering with this specific child care provider. That is a parent choice. So the 33% and parent's choice are the 2 premises that have to stay. Everything else is up for grabs. If you want to say employees have to be employed with us for 6 months or a year, or we're covering full-time employees with this benefit, that's totally fine. And the TriShare team is here to help you. We are happy to lead you through those options, discuss what works best for your goals. Again, total flexibility to what your goals are with the program. TriShare does have an eligibility portion of it. So the household income, so this is not just what employees make, this is their total household income, including the children. That's how we get the number of people. So it's based on the size and the total income coming into the house from all sources. So again, we determine that so that employers do not have that burden. So what are the employer responsibilities? Super easy. Once you sign an employer agreement, which just basically lays out what we do at the United Way and what you do as an employer, you promote the benefit to the employees. We have rollout letters. We're working on a new rollout video. So we have some great things that we can do to support you with that. But if you want something different, you just have to ask. We're here to try and help be your partner in this and make this easy for you to do. Verify income as requested. Say we just don't understand the paycheck stubs that we're getting, or the hours are just not matching up, and we can't figure it out. We'll just contact whoever our HR contact or payroll department, whatever we're supplied with that you want us to be our main connection. We'll ask those questions that we need to. It's probably only in 10% of the cases that we really need a little bit of additional clarification. We will forward you an invoice and once a month, and you would just forward back the employee and the employee portions of the TriShare benefit. We will let you know what those payroll deduction amounts are. We will work with the child care provider and the employee to figure out what their care costs are per week, and then we send you all of that information. You help us determine when the benefit start date is for that employee. And then inform United Way if somebody is no longer going to be employed with you, whether it's your decision or their decision. We just need that heads up so we can reconcile their statement with TriShare and we continue on. So super easy. Employers incur no costs unless employees are active and enrolled. So they can be enrolled and approved in the program, but if they're still searching for childcare, there's no cost to you. If they're just not ready to use it until summer, because employees do come in and out of the program quite frequently. Maybe they don't need summer care, or maybe they just need summer care. It would just transition between spring and fall, depending on what the employee's needs are. But no invoices if we're not getting billed by childcare providers. So how do you get started? First, you have to really think about and determine your budget. Is this something that you can look at benefits that you already have? Do you have an education fund? But maybe that's not, being utilized as much as you would like. Well, maybe that's something that you can put additional funds in, and you could say to employees, well, if you're not using this educational fund for yourself, you can use it for early childhood education for your kids. So just one idea. Also, determine who would be eligible and what parameters you want to set. And when you look at your staff or your staffing, who might qualify? Again, we have a Google form you can use that can be specifically to gather that information that's anonymous. It just depends on how you want to determine that. And then you sign the employer agreement. So how do employees apply or obtain more information? You go to mytrishare.org. Easy, again, very fast, answers lots of questions, tons of frequently asked questions under each tab. So if there are specific questions you have that are not on there, you can feel free to contact me. Just to give you a little bit, our current stats for our 10 counties as of December, parent savings were $286,000. We had about 50 employers and 50 childcare providers, 145 applicants and 95 children served to date. So I think that's pretty cool. We're well over $300,000 now that we're moving into the month of March. So awesome for our families, but the retention for our employers has been really key. So moving on to DuoShare. As you can see with the income qualification, it may not fit every company. There's the 33%. We live in rural northern Michigan. We understand that. We have small retail shops on our main streets that might only have 3 employees, but they have one struggling with childcare. And yet they can't afford that 33%. That is how DuoShare was born. Some employers want to cover all of their employees regardless, whether they're under or whether they're over. These programs can stand alone or they can be combined together. It just depends on what the employer's goal is. And so again, if you just want information on DuoShare, you can go to duoshare.org. It is structured exactly the same way as the TriShare, mytrishare.org website. So what is it? It's just a cost share between the employer and the employee. I just got a question yesterday. Does the split have to be equal? No, it does not. It can be you want to cover 10% of all of your employees' childcare. Totally fine. You can cover, I want to cover $2,000 a year. You can do a cap with DuoShare. So DuoShare gives you that flexibility, but the piece that's missing is there's no state investment. So again, you can customize the benefit however you would like. The percentage, cap per employee, number of slots. Maybe you only want 1 slot. And when that slot turns over, somebody else gets to take advantage of it. We just need to know what your parameters look like and what you'd like. There is no income verification. We will still use the same intake form. Just because if a family qualifies for additional community benefits, we want to be able to offer those to them or to make those known to those families that might be struggling with something else, but maybe they're not telling you. So sometimes they don't, employees don't want to communicate household income. They don't want to communicate what the status of or anything going on with their family to, with their employer. And so they can communicate that with us and we'll try and help them find additional supports in the community. Again, it can be blended with TriShare or standalone. And then with this program, there's a small administrative fee per employee per month. And so only active employees. And what that fee is from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 employees, it's $10 a month. We try to keep that super affordable. If employees are not billing for childcare that month, say they take the summer off, there is no administrative cost involved. So it's only if they're active in billing. And we try to keep this very reasonable because we want our communities and our families to have that affordable childcare and not putting into administrative funds or costs. Oh, I guess we're going backwards here a minute. Let's see if I can shrink that. There. Again, the employer responsibilities are the same. You would coordinate the payroll deduction, promote the benefit, forward the funds that are collected to the United Way, and inform us if someone is no longer employed with you. No costs unless employees are active and enrolled. Again, how do employees apply or obtain more information? DuoShare.org is your one key place. So I wanted to open it up for questions. And while I do that, I just want to put my contact information on the screen. Nikki, I'm not sure if you can see if there are any questions in the chat or if anybody wants to unmute, feel free. I'm happy to answer whatever's coming to mind.
Christina, my question is about the childcare providers. Is the families finding the provider that they want and signing up with that provider and then going through the process?
Yes. And then we work with whatever provider they say that they would like to utilize. And we can help them. I can't say we're miracle workers or we have the Staples Easy button, but we are connected with the Great Start to Quality resource centers in all of the regions. And so if someone's struggling for childcare, we keep all of the TriShare and DuoShare applicants on a list. And then we can, if we know of an opening with another TriShare or DuoShare provider, or a family found an opening, or we connect with the resource center to try and assist that family. Another really great tool for employees that employers can use is greatstarttoquality.org. If you go under the parent tab, there's a finding childcare link. They can search their zip code, their county, or their area for all the licensed childcare. And that is one premise of both programs. The childcare does have to be licensed.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
And for clarification too, so when connecting, as Russ said, with those childcare providers, whether that be a home-based provider, licensed home-based provider, or an actual childcare center, is there an education piece? So say Russ hires a wonderful new employee who currently has a childcare provider, but is moving into working with Comfort Keepers Company because of this benefit, because Russ participates in TriShare and DuoShare and already has a current childcare provider. Is if that provider is not in the matrix of the current providers, I'm assuming that's something that United Way does to work with them to help them understand the benefits of being that, third piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. Yep. We contact the childcare provider directly. We help them with the paperwork. We set them up on our billing portal. We give them a login, and all of our system is very secure. So childcare providers can only see their families that attend their childcare. But yes, we work with them in any capacity they want. And the other thing is, childcare providers, this provides stability to them because we pay them at 100% even before we bill the state of Michigan and the employer for the employer portion and the employee portion. We pay them 1 week from the time they submit their invoice. So if they submit it Friday of 1 week, we pay them the following Friday. They don't have to worry about collecting from the parents. We do all of that back end, and we bill employers the month after the service has been provided. So we upfront all of those costs to that provider to ensure their stability, because we know that that's a struggling industry.
I think that's a really great clarifying point too, because the opposite side of this, while we're talking about the employer side and how you utilize this as a benefit for your own businesses, whether you have 2 employees or 200 employees, how this works, there is the overarching understanding that that childcare industry as a business model is definitely one where there's some reticence you can see in a program where you're waiting to get a check. So that's really good to point out. Because that also helps, I think, employers. If you have an employee who says, well, I don't want to switch childcare, but they're not a part of it because they haven't been informed or had the good conversation to understand it completely yet.
Yep, I totally agree.
Is
Excellent.
there a maximum they can cover, like the limit, let's say 400 a week, 500 a week? Is there a cap to what the daycare charges?
No, not with TriShare. TriShare, you have to be willing to cover 1/3 of whatever that approved employee's costs are. What I typically tell employers is to look at your budget and plan for a year. And so if you determine that you have $20,000, say, that you want to put into this program, or you can put in, then you have to determine how many slots in your area would that cover. Now, the average infant cost of childcare in Traverse City is about $15,000. I assume in Emmett County, it's anywhere between 11 and 13,000 would just be my guess, for one infant. So you need to determine, okay, then you have 1/3 of that. So this is what the benefit will look like. And maybe you can only have 3 slots, or maybe you can only have 1 slot. That's okay. And we'll help. Then you would help us determine who would get that slot. If someone left the slot, who would be the next eligible employee? Is that by seniority? Is that by first in, first out? Is it closest to the 200% of the federal poverty limit? Which one is it? And so we can work out all of those details with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. DuoShare, by the way, can have a cap. You can do what you would like with DuoShare. So that's the caveat, which is why DuoShare was born, is because there were some employers that really wanted to cover more employees and they wanted to put a specific cap. So you can do it with that program.
And both of those websites we dropped into the chat. And I think one of the important things too, Christina, that you can speak to is really the importance of employers being able to educate their employees on these benefits. We know that it's a tight, tough job market. And from an employer standpoint, to retain and attract that quality employee, you have to get creative. So making sure that your employees are aware of this kind of really, game-changing benefit when it comes to how you keep those wonderful employees that you have, especially as we know that those costs continue to rise. So I think it's, that you had mentioned, and I think it's important for everyone on the call to really dig in and dive into the websites to see what you as an employer, and of course you'll help them with that, can say and help your employees understand that benefit. And I appreciate that you mentioned too, some employees might not want to talk about what that personal need is, or why they have those. So United Way steps in for that, and that's a big conversation that sometimes employers aren't sure where to go, especially if you don't have a big HR component to your organization and you're smaller. I think that's a really good resource that they can use as well.
Mhm. And if employees do go under the limit and you're selecting TriShare and you only want to offer TriShare, we help them with links and guides to the childcare development subsidy, now called scholarship program. And some of the situations and the standards around that program are changing to allow easier entrance into that program. So I know that the state, we have an underutilization of that benefit in Northern Michigan. And I think that some of those pieces are being addressed to really utilize that as well.
Does anybody else have any questions at all?
Yeah, where do we find the recording when this is done, Nikki?
We are going to blast it out, of course, to everybody who attended, but then it's going to live on our website, on our homepage for a little bit. And then also we're going to be pushing this through the social media channels pretty heavily. So I encourage you and your organizations to share this out, because one of the key components isn't just the employer understanding, it's the employee understanding. Knowing that, we want employees going to their employers and saying, hey, is TriShare or DuoShare something we could ever have a conversation about? Because, looking at our family finances, this is kind of where we want to go. And some employers might not know even what it is yet, because it was a pilot, because it was very limited. And so this is going to be hopefully a really good tool. So we ask that you share it out as well.
We will. Christina, just
Yeah.
curious, have you presented to Tara in Traverse City?
Yes, we did present last fall.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, I want to
Thanks,
give
Nikki.
thank you, Russ. And I want to give a special thank you too to Christina. And for those that are on the call, when you're sharing this out, this recording, understand that what started as a pilot, that was a bipartisan effort. And, in a time when we were still all struggling a little bit to recover from COVID, has also turned into now a national model. It is fascinating and exciting to see states around the country modeling Michigan's TriShare program, because they see it as a benefit that can really, truly help us start to tackle that childcare crisis in all instances, but really focus on the workforce that we know our businesses need. So kudos to Christina and the team at United Way for leading this. It's not an easy lift. And I think the best thing to take away as an employer is that all the coordination and all the pieces and all the extra admin is the biggest piece you don't need to worry about, because United Way is doing it. And that's massive, because we know our employers are already strapped. So this makes it something you definitely should be looking into.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll follow up with the recording for you to share out. Thank you, Rust, Comfort Keepers, for a Hot Topic sponsorship. And thank you to Odawa Casino, who also is our Winfluence sponsor for the year. So more great things to come. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Christina.